Which memorials at Veterans Memorial Park are actually reproductions of earlier monuments? Hi there, I'm Pensacola historian Joe Vinson. Opening in 1992, Veterans Memorial Park is a jewel on Bayfront Parkway with 13 different monuments and sculptures, plus even more commemorative benches and other points of interest. Walking through it and the adjacent Admiral Mason Park is a great opportunity for reflection as you enjoy the breeze and views of Pensacola Bay. But did you know that several of the memorials here are actually replicas? Well, the first one you probably knew about. That's the Wall South, a half-scale replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C., and the reason this park was created. There are now at least 7 fixed replicas of Maya Lin's original memorial design in various scales across the country, but this one was the first. The inspiration was the Moving Wall, a traveling half-scale replica that came to Pensacola in 1987 and so moved local Vietnam vets that they began a multi-year campaign to turn this 5.5-acre city property into a permanent park to honor veterans and memorialize the fallen, anchored by the Wall South. Made of black granite, the Wall South has 2 wings, each 128 feet long and 8 feet tall at the highest points. It lists the names of all 58,281 men and women listed as killed in action or missing in action from the war in Vietnam. The second replica is the World War I Memorial. The original monument was funded by the American Legion and dedicated in 1928 to mark the 10th anniversary of Armistice Day. It was located for decades on the West Garden Street median by Coyle, across from the Frisco passenger depot that had just opened, and very close to where the Frisco locomotive 1355 is today. When Veterans Memorial Park opened in 1992, the Wall South Foundation intended to relocate it to signify that this park would honor American soldiers regardless of conflict. Unfortunately, the porous sandstone used in the original began to crumble during the relocation effort, so most of it was recreated from marble. If you look closely at the top, you can see it's made of a different material. Third, this bench, located next to the World War II Memorial, is dedicated to George Lockwood, the first and youngest recorded Pensacola casualty in World War II. A popular local boxer, Lockwood was only 17 years old when he died in the 1942 Battle of Savo Island, when the USS Vincennes was sunk by Japanese torpedoes. The original bench, cast in cement, was dedicated in 1944 and sat on the North Palafox median near Gregory Street. When the World War II Memorial was added to Veterans Memorial Park in 2002, citizens pushed to relocate the bench to the park as well. Ultimately, however, the original bench was cleaned and moved to Holy Cross Cemetery in East Hill, near the graves of Lockwood's parents, and a new bench made of marble is what sits here at the entrance to the World War II Memorial. Fourth, the Minuteman sculpture on the Revolutionary War Memorial is a replica of Daniel Chester French's famous 1874 sculpture located in Concord, Massachusetts. It depicts a patriot farmer, gun in hand, stepping away from his plow to join the Continental Army. This bronze replica, cast in Baltimore, was funded by the local chapters of the Sons of the American Revolution and the Daughters of the American Revolution, and it was added to the park in 2014. There are a couple of other monuments that aren't exactly replicas of earlier ones, but they aren't unique to our park either. The Gold Star Families Monument, added in 2020, and the sculpture of a military working dog grieving the death of its partner, added in 2022, both have installations in other cities. But speaking of reproductions, here's a bonus one. It's not in Veterans Memorial Park, but the Confederate monument that stood at the top of Palafox Hill from 1891 until its removal in 2020 was topped by an 8-foot granite statue of a Confederate soldier, his arms folded and hat in hand. This was modeled after an 1889 bronze statue named Appomattox that stood in Alexandria, Virginia, until it too was removed in 2020. Both sculptures took their likeness from an 1888 painting by John Adams Elder called After Appomattox, depicting a pensive Confederate veteran standing in a dusty, ruined battlefield. I hope you enjoyed learning about some of the monuments at our wonderful Veterans Memorial Park. Whether you are visiting to pay your respects at Wall South or any of the other memorials here, or simply enjoying a peaceful stroll by the bay, this place is a powerful reminder of the deep history and sacrifice woven into our community. Please come and enjoy these monuments in person, and I hope you have a safe and meaningful Memorial Day. Thank you.